Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Welcome to let's see, Nick, what did we say it was? Like a four-week absence.
It's been too long.
It has been too long.
4 weeks.
Fresh Takes podcast of Russo and Felice. So we do have some very small content we can discuss, but we're here. We're going to go, and I am Paul Russo. Across from me, man, myth, legend himself, Nick Felice. Nick, welcome back.
Thanks. I do have breaking news.
Okay.
Sports will return next week.
No.
April Fools. I got you. Well, anyway, yeah, I'm back. It was a cruel joke, Paul. It hurt him to the heart there, but it hurts me. I picked up knitting.
I honestly want to punch you right now.
I picked up knitting. That's what I do now. No, I didn't pick up knitting. I saw Monday Night Football this week. That was pretty cool. It's been tough. It's been tough.
Mm-hmm.
There are no sports, and there never will be.
Yeah.
So we're changing this podcast to a
Tiger King Stan podcast.
Yes. Yep, we'll keep you updated as the case reopens.
Yeah, so we'll hold off on that because Nick is watching but not really watching and hasn't finished it yet. But even though he's not really watching, so
it's on in the background.
So
in my house,
we'll discuss it at a later time for sure because once Nick gets done with it, but not really done with it,
we'll talk about it.
But yeah, I mean that they need a part 2, which allegedly there is. So I'm really excited. But
it is the most popular thing I think on streaming right now.
It's been number 1 on Netflix since I think last week. So
yeah, very popular.
Either way, let's show obviously what we got for today's pod. Not a ton. Can't imagine it'll be a super, really long one like we usually do. But you never, I guess, really know truly until we get there. But we'll discuss the main baseball notes specifically with Noah Syndegard. We'll go into Chris Sale a little bit too, even though his stuff was more underlying. And maybe talk a couple other things with that. eNASCAR has gotten pretty big since it's like the only live thing going on.
NBA seems to be copying.
Yeah, the NFL with Madden 2 is doing something tonight, I think it is. But I could be wrong, but it's not the players. I think it's just Madden pros that usually do it are doing it. Let's kind of discuss what's been up with us and, what's kind of been like. And,
What's up?
And among other things, because it certainly has been a weird, now almost 3 weeks. 3 weeks to the day, really, without sports. Tomorrow will be 3 weeks. Been 2 weeks since we've seen each other face to face, me and Nick.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but it's been 3 weeks without sports. Think about that. Today, 3 weeks ago, me and you, Nick, were in different high school gymnasiums for state playing games.
We never got to complete it,
no.
Which sucks, but I don't know what to do, Paul. I really just don't know. But
hopefully, a part of this too is hopefully, if you are a regular listener of us, which we appreciate, and viewer, hopefully this helps you get through a half hour of lull time, which we all have a lot of at the moment. So we'll get into it. Like I said, baseball's the first one. We'll start with the Noah Syndegard one because, like I said, him and Chris Sale are kind of the two main headliners with it. And the Chris Sale one was more underlying, kind of like we expected something to happen there. But the Noah Syndegard one was surprising in the fact of it happened really 7 days after Major League Baseball told everybody, hey, let's get everybody out of Tampa, if you're in the Grapefruit League for spring training, Tampa, the Gulf Coast side, and I think Port St. Lucie is over on the Atlantic. Is Port St. Lucie on the Atlantic side? I can't remember. Either way, Noah Syndegard needed Tommy John. Which is a very interesting time, obviously. a lot of people were calling about, and I think a little bit justifiably, but also on the other end, like, you need surgery, elective or not.
I feel like something was up with Syndegard. He didn't have the greatest year last year.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it still has to do with stuff behind the scenes. But yeah, I mean, the Tommy John surgery with him is very interesting because he'll be out, obviously, whenever we get going this year, if we do at all. And then next year, we'll miss a considerable chunk of time as well. I'll ask you, Nick, because he's a free agent. You could technically be a free agent at the end of this year. It's so weird, like the Mets fall from grace pitching staff wise. What were your thoughts when you saw it? Because it was really the first major sports news nugget in a week span when it happened. It was big news.
Well, so contracts, Paul. Contracts are going either way, if there's a season or not a season. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's different this year because you get a Tommy John surgery. Tommy John surgery like that at the beginning of the year, you get so it's disappointing. You think it's the end of your season for your stud pitcher like Syndegard and Sale is for their teams. But this year's different, Paul, because of as my camera moves. It is different this year, Paul, because there's no doubt it's going to be a shortened season if there is a season. There might not be a season at all. As a Pirates fan, I don't really like to do my examples of my team, but one of our best pitchers, Jamison Tyon, is out for the entire year this year because of Tommy John surgery. Going into this year, I didn't know what to expect out of the team this year, but I wouldn't be that opposed as a Pirates fan, not as a baseball fan, as a Pirates fan, that the season would not happen because I would love to have the next time Pirates play games, Jamison Tyon would be in that rotation. So, Syndegard and Sale are out for their teams this year, but if there's not a year to play, it's not as bad. Because as a fan, you got to suffer without in games. But, heck, they'll be back for the next year, and hopefully no one else gets hurt by then. So you should be relatively healthy by the time baseball does return. While we're on the topic of baseball, Paul, did you hear Keith Olbermann's his opinions of what they should do?
No.
He requested a 32, because he's saying a lot of stuff's coming back in September. He requested a 32-game regular season where you play just your division 8 times. And so you would keep the Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, Giants, that kind of stuff. And then you just play the playoffs as it is after 32 games, and you're playing teams in the playoffs who you haven't even seen all season long. Like the old days for the World Series at least, but this would be every round for the most part. What do you think about that? 32-game regular season, just your division.
No, I think at that point you're better off just canceling the season.
I've also heard that they might just do a tournament.
Yeah, I mean, look, I
cancel season then too.
I think a lot of people are kind of targeting. So I still think this is very optimistic of me, especially when you look at conditions like in New York City. I think a good goal would to be having maybe like a week or so of spring training, end of May, and you have games start beginning of June at neutral sites without fans. And like I said, I think that's being fairly optimistic still. I don't know, because this is also twofold when you look at, like, even in the summer, like, people are talking about, like, NASCAR and, like, in that type of deal. Like, I don't see anything getting going until, like, July, really, if I'm being honest.
So you just want to say it right now, there will not be an All-Star Game home run derby?
No, I think there could be still. I mean, it's the All-Star game. It's pretty much a popularity contest anyway.
At least it doesn't mean anything anymore.
That's what my Twitter spat was with all these Red Sox fans a couple of years ago. It's just nothing more than a popularity contest. I mean, if it was truly the All-Star game, then Nick Castellanos would have been in over Mookie Betts, and that's just a point of fact. You know, getting back to the main issue at hand with that, yeah, I assume if we have to wait till September to cancel the season, not that I'd really want to, but like at that point, you've already lost how much money. You're going to be competing against football hardcore outright.
Weather.
Yeah, I mean, well, weather not so much. I mean,
you think they could play at neutral locations and with domes?
Yeah. I mean, if that's what you're going to do, yeah. Tournament, not fully on board with either. Just I don't know how you'd really do it.
Baseball's not a tournament sport.
No, not once you get out of the youth ranks. It's not.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't think tournament wise that type of deal wise I don't see. I can't get behind.
No. But they're definitely going to need to go back to spring training. That's for sure.
Yeah. Although a lot of players are saying they're only going to need a few at bats because they're already pretty much.
Yeah, it's not really the hitters, it's the pitchers.
Yeah.
They got to get in their rotation. Yeah, you probably ask like majority of the hitters, they'll want to play like right now.
Yeah.
These pitchers though, they need that spring training to get in the flow of the season, and right now they just basically were starting to get in the flow.
I think the main vocalist behind it actually has been Nick Ahmed for the Diamondbacks. He's saying he's only going to need like 5 at bats and he'll be good to go.
Yeah, it's just these guys were already getting ready, and now they're back in off-season mode,
it's almost worse than being in the off season, because at least with the off season you have a date that you have to be that you're going for, right? This we don't know. I mean, we could think about this, and this may sound crazy. We could be good to go in 2 weeks, which obviously is extremely unlikely. Put it in the 99.999% unlikeliness of it. Or it may be February 2021 by the time we see players back at camp. You just don't know.
For however long this has been, every day's been tough without sports, but last Thursday was definitely tough when it was supposed to be opening day. Because I know I'm a big fan. I know you are, Paul. That's a big day.
It still is a big day. Even like non-baseball fans enjoy opening day. Because it's kind of like the unofficial start of spring.
Yep.
I mean, even though spring started 6 days prior, it's the unofficial start.
Yep. It's definitely one of the things that's killed me the most. The thing that's killed me the most is Del Lago closing.
It saved me money. I don't know about you, but I haven't spent all that much money, which has been nice.
I miss you, Del Lago.
Going back to the other main topic with it, Chris Sale, his Tommy John surgery is about the most non-surprising one, given how much already problems with his elbow he had coming into spring, and then he threw for one day and had discomfort. I mean, it's not surprising with him. Unfortunate, sure. Again, really, I mean, did you see that one coming too? I mean, just given the fact that everything that he had already had going wrong with his elbow up until that point.
Yeah, I think it's that weird rotation he's got. He's got a weird way he throws the ball.
Well, it's not meant to put a ton of stress on his arm. Like, that's why it's like that.
But you feel bad for the guy. But this is the guy that tears up uniforms. Yeah, it sucks. But like I said before, there might not be a season for him to play. So I think if you are a pitcher right now and you're thinking about having Tommy John surgery, I think you take it right now. Just because of what everything's going on right now. Get yourself ready by 2021. get yourself, because there will be a season 2021. There will
I hope so.
be a season. I know it. I've talked to some of my doctors. There will be something by the start of next year. And so there will be season 2021. You could put it to the bank. So get ready for 2021. 2020, though, we'll see.
Sketchy. Yeah. All right. Let's shift topics then. eNASCAR. Nick, have you watched any?
Just the highlights.
Okay. So it's become a pretty big success. Denny Hamlin won the first race at the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway 2 Sundays ago. And then last Sunday, Timmy Hill, name that you probably don't recognize. He's the hard to call him an up-and-comer, even though he's like 27. He's been racing Cup since he was 20. But younger guy, guy you definitely haven't heard of, in backmarker equipment most of the time. He won at Virtual Texas Motor Speedway this past Sunday. A little bump and run, drawing a lot of eyes to the sport. This has been a lot of fun because it's probably the closest thing to the actual sport going on right now is the racing. They use iRacing, a simulator, for it. IndyCar's doing the same thing now. They have their second race coming up this Saturday. I believe theirs is at the virtual Birmingham Streets or Birmingham Road Course. They had their first one this past Saturday. Jimmy Johnson won the race. That was hosted at the virtual Watkins Glen International.
So they're doing this in their house?
Yeah. I think the only one NASCAR-wise that's not doing it at their house is Clint Boyer. And that's because he's at the Fox studio doing it because they're having him be kind of like an in-race guy where they go to him, ask him questions in race, and it's been a lot of fun to watch so far. Obviously, you've seen highlights. What have you kind of thought of it? Because for me, it's still pretty cool because it's just a race and it gives me something to watch. But for you, you're not obviously a racing guy, but it's kind of like it's like the only thing really going on. So.
No, I am not a racing guy, but I am a video game guy, and I do love my Mario Kart, which is like this type of racing.
Is it, though?
Is there pit stops in the game?
Yes, you do have to pit.
There is pit stop. Okay, I don't like the pit stop because I don't get it, but I love the idea of racing in a video game. But it's cool, and I was saying this before the show with you. People just need something to be entertained right now. And this is it. Like you said, the Madden, the 2K, the other sports are going to start doing this. People just need to be entertained. There's also the idea of maybe Tiger Woods, Phil going against Brady, Peyton Manning in golf. That would be cool to watch. Just entertain people. And this is the start of our world. But it's cool. I think definitely interesting. So you said they only talked to Clint Boyer during the thing?
Yeah, well, they were talking to others. Like they've talked to Landon Castle. They've talked to Denny.
Did they talk to Timmy Hill after, or like on the phone?
Yeah, they did. No, they had some of these drivers have what's known as Twitch, which a lot of people know about and everything like that. So they already have kind of like cameras set up. And yeah, after each race they talked to Denny live and they've talked to Timmy live.
How long does this game take?
It's been about like an hour and a half each time, just based on length. Both Homestead, Miami, and Texas are a mile and a half. So, I believe Homestead was 100 laps, and then Texas this past week was 125 because it was an extra 25 miles. I think they did.
Now I need to know: is there been any glitches?
Yeah. So, this happened not in the official race, but a race that happened that was televised the first week where everything got canceled. Parker Clearman, who's also in the Sunday deal with iRacing, he was racing in this race, and his car went straight through a turn one time, and that happens when something happens with your computer. Just shuts off, shuts down, something like that. You'll just go straight. Nothing major has really happened to my knowledge. I think Jimmy Johnson had a little bit of a Wi-Fi issue one time at the first race a couple weeks ago, but other than that, there hasn't been any major. But there obviously is a possibility of that. I think like an actual race, for instance, an engine could go or something like that. Well, iRacing, it could be your computer, someone with your computer.
I don't know what you've heard. How's Jimmy Johnson handling this? This was supposed to be his last year.
Yeah, so it's funny you mentioned that. I was reading before coming in. He has reconsidered a little bit about his retirement, but there are a lot of different factors at that. I know NASCAR was slated to have a new car next year called the Next Gen car, Generation 7, if you want to go numerically from beginning to end. The way it sounds, the car's being pushed back to 2021 now, or 2022 rather, instead of 2021. So he might be running full time next year, which is a very interesting scenario because, and the rumor kind of got shot down, but not really, because the one hot rumor was Brad Keselowski going to the 48, which would put him in an interesting spot, or put any driver really in an interesting spot should that happen, because these contracts are still being played out through the year like baseball is, right? So whatever your contract length is, this is it, and it's going to be interesting in that realm. But yeah, it's he's been enjoying this iRacing deal. His iRacing setup is different from every other one. I mean, everyone's different, but his is set up more for the open wheel stuff, because he is going to do some IndyCar stuff the way it sounds, so his is more tuned up for that, and it's been kind of funny to watch him struggle.
They've been getting 40 people to play?
So the server really can only do 35 in a race for what they're doing, broadcasting and everything like that. So, but the interest has been so big. This week they're doing Bristol, because Bristol's supposed to be this weekend. That the way it sounds, they're going to be doing some sort of heat racing type deal on Saturday to get into the big show on Sunday, which is pretty cool.
Now, is this for money?
I know the last week at Texas, I think there was like $1,000 on the line from a sponsor that they could have gotten. But
now, is
usually
there standings for this, or is this for fun?
No. At the moment, it's just for fun, because they're just trying to get past the time. But, I mean, Fox has obviously picked up in broadcasting and doing it, so it should be interesting there. Yeah.
No, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely a start to entertainment for us, but obviously we'd like to get back to the real thing. But, I'm looking forward to the 2K tournament. I'd like to see who's representing the Knicks. Maybe the Knicks can win something.
I don't think the Knicks have a person in it.
I thought every team was in it.
No, the one I saw is only 16 people.
Oh, really?
And some teams have a repeat in it, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Really? It probably is. I thought every team was represented, but it's tough. But this is cool, Paul. I will say that. This is cool. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, okay. All right, brings us to really the final topic, and I don't think it will take us too long unless we just kind of keep going, but it's been 3 weeks now pretty much without sports. I guess let's kind of talk about what we've been up to and maybe what you guys have been up to and that type of deal, but yeah, so I'll start anyway a little bit, and then you can kind of chime in, because you're in a more, I'll call, interesting spot than anyone else, really, at least between us two. So let's go back then to, what would it be, March? Let me do the math. March 11th. No.
March 12th was the day. March 11th is when the NBA got shut down. March 12th is when the whole tournament went down.
Yeah, so it'd be March 10th then, that Wednesday.
Oh, then Wednesday's the 11th.
Yeah. Okay, so I was right. March 11th
Okay.
then.
That's when the NBA got shut down.
I was at the Geneva Panther game.
Yep.
Calling the Class B play-in to go in the Far West Regional. And first off, it was weird. It was like an 8 o'clock, not an 8 o'clock. It was like a 7.
It was late.
Yeah.
Later than usual.
It was it was an 8 o'clock start. Because I'm getting everything set up and ready to go. I was calling the game with Michael SEO. And, I got a couple updates on my phone. And obviously we had heard things kind of really at the start of like the week about how the NBA was going to restrict the media because of their concern and everything like that. And I get up on my phone that Rudy Gobert was scratched due to illness. And at the time, you really didn't, I guess, think about anything too much. Game gets going at least for an our end on FL1.
Now you get NBA updates like that about all the teams?
Yeah, because I have it on Bleacher Report and ESPN stuff, just like the breaking news type stuff like that. And then as it turns out, I look at halftime, I see that the game was delayed. Because at the time, they were just going to delay that Jazz Thunder game, obviously because they had the suspicion of it being COVID-19. And then end of the game, second half went pretty quick in that Geneva Avon game, and look at my phone, and it's like game was postponed. I'm like, this is something's gotta be, obviously, stuff starts triggering in your head, and you see that they believe Gobert had it, like. So yeah, it was just wild, and as you said, you knew from there exactly what was going on. It's a bit weird, at least on my end, knowing that like I was one of the last few people broadcasting any sort of sporting event at that point. When you think back on it, also kind of cool in a way, but
it is.
But yeah, and like you said, I mean, in the fallout from there, just kind of how it kind of dominoed out. Like work-wise for me, our last day, man, it's hard to even call that Friday before a normal day, just the way that we kind of knew what was possibly coming. Really, that last normal day was probably Wednesday. That same Wednesday work-wise at the rec center was even what would have been the last, what I'd call normal day, because Thursday became kind of like a day to just kind of get some stuff done in case. And same deal Friday. Not even so much Friday, because we were supposed to host a basketball tournament at the rec center that weekend, the 14th and 15th, and that got canceled because of it.
Now, it was that Wednesdays when the tournament decided to play without fans, right?
Yeah, so no. Thursday morning, I think it was, and then they just canceled Friday because every conference tournament canceled at that point, pretty much.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I think every really major one canceled, and except the Big East, and the Big East canceled halfway through the first game at halftime. So, yeah, and then like I've been saying, like I've been working from home since the Tuesday the 17th was the last day kind of in the office, and even then, definitely not a normal work day. We were cleaning, cleaning, more or less getting stuff ready everywhere, like property-wise for us, kind of getting our deal kind of taken care of, and since then, been working from home. Been doing my best not to play video games constantly, not to kind of eat everything in sight, and did my best. Past couple Fridays, I've been able to get out and go down to Watkins Glen State Park for a little bit and kind of enjoyed that and keeping my distance from everybody, which, in that sense, everybody's been doing a really good job of, and been really cool seeing, how, at least in our area, we've been really lucky so far. Admittedly, I haven't checked today what, at least in Seneca County, has been like, but we only have the one confirmed case.
Yeah.
Resident-wise in Seneca County anyway, that I'm aware of. And, at least up here in our area, I'd say we're doing a pretty good job overall at that. Admittedly, I think we can all do a little bit better still. Like in a deal sense, I don't think I should really be going to, like, Watkins Glen, for instance. But, I'm also trying to keep myself not from going stir crazy in a way. But I'm doing my best. Admittedly, I'm trying my best not to go near people and everything like that. And obviously, Nick, we're for sure 6 feet apart. So
yeah, we're good. I'm working from home too.
Yeah. So what? Because you're in an interesting spot, being a sport reporter. Specifically, that's your title at the Finger Lakes Times and everything like that. So obviously, your deal's probably more upside down than really a lot of people kind of in general.
Yeah, it's still we do a podcast with the Finger Lakes Times too. We did one this morning. We've been doing on Zoom the Social Distancing podcast. But I've been working from home, getting some stories to write about. Just finished up on the all-league selections for the winter championship, winter seasons. And, it's just working from home, trying to figure out stuff that's really the stories I've been writing is just stories about stuff that if it's still going on or not, whether it's in June, May, July, anytime, just figuring out what people are going to be doing, how they're handling it for their own local businesses. So that's really all I'm writing out. And not much sports because there is no sports. But for me personally, Felice has bought HBO Go, so I started watching Silicon Valley with my brother. We're on season 4 of 6. Pretty good show. I watched my brother's been watching Tiger King. I have it on the background. I watched a little bit. Know it's going good. I started an Instagram tournament.
Yeah, I don't. You
Favorite
did
TV show?
I'm gonna be honest. You did a terrible job seeding.
Hey, there's upsets, man. It was upsets.
Yeah, upsets because you don't know
What's
how to seed.
one are you upset about? Just give me one.
Well, you were surprised SVU did as well as it did. I'm like, no, you're like.
I made SVU a 7 seed out of 32 teams, but
in its region.
I've been doing that.
Of course, another thing too, not to jump in, but one of the things that both of us were equally excited about, Seneca 7 race, and it got canceled.
Yeah, it got canceled entirely. Just trying to think of other stuff. A lot of stuff's affected. No Tosh Point O right now. That killed me. He's my favorite comedian. Him or Bill Burr. But it's been nice out, I guess. It's been pretty nice.
Yeah, like I said, I've been doing my best to try and get out. I played a little bit of basketball this morning. Not like basketball,
At
but
the Bruni's court? Oh, nice.
Yep, I'm back.
And I hear golf's still a thing. We're trying to hit up the golf course. If you're down. But
What do you mean if I'm down? I was the one who introduced the idea.
the people don't know that, Paul. You gotta chime in. But yeah, it's been boring. I miss my sports. Eventually, TV shows are gonna get affected. They're not gonna have any new episodes because no one's filming right now. Been FaceTiming a lot since I can't go see people. Yeah, it's boring, Paul. It's only been 3 weeks, and we're not even at the peak, I guess. But the NFL draft, I hear, is still a thing.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, we hope, kind of going back to it, but we hope everyone listening and watching, hope that you're staying healthy, staying safe, doing the right thing, as we call it. Obviously, the sooner we can get this under control, the sooner we can go back to normal lives, whether you are sport crazy like us or not. It's affecting everybody. So that pretty much wraps up the show. We're pretty sure we're going to do next week off. Probably come back in a couple weeks or so again. We have a couple ideas. I think what we might try and do, Nick, kind of talked about a little bit before, we might try and do a Q&A type deal. So I would say check our Twitters for that, at Russo32 for me, at NickyFresh21 for you.
Yes.
So either that or Facebook as well when we share this edition of the pod out. We'll probably make a determination on that tonight. I think we should do it. Obviously not a ton to do, and kind of get everybody's maybe thoughts and opinions on a couple different things or anything really. I think it'd be pretty cool. We haven't done anything like that. Not really much else to talk about. I think the next major thing will be the draft, and even then, that's really about, it's straightforward now. I mean, there's not much really discussed.
There's not going to be any games anytime soon here.
No. So buckle up, stay safe, enjoy it. Nick, any shout-outs to anything with any parting thoughts?
Crap, I forgot this was a segment here.
If you don't have anybody, you don't have anybody. I mean,
I'll just shout out my mom. So
I miss her.
Our birthday. I was born on my mom's birthday. It is 2 weeks from yesterday, and I don't know what I'm going to do. So shout out my mom. This can be a weird birthday, but and it's the 25 years old now.
You old.
Yeah. Kind of pissed, but
Oh, it is what it is.
yeah, we'll see. Shout out, mother.
All right, everybody, if you haven't. Oh, thanks, Nick. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for
obviously, and everything like that. If you guys haven't, like, share, subscribe. Like I said, stay tuned to our social medias. We'll see if we can get anything going there. And we'll catch you guys next time on the Fresh Takes Podcast.